Good morning, Year 5. I hope you've had a lovely weekend. This is your big maths for Monday, the 11th of January. And we will be practicing our 8 times tables today. So you probably don't need your book. We can just practice out loud and in our heads for today. And then on the other days, we'll do our click skills in our books. Okay, so each week we're going to practice a different times table as well as doing our usual big maths throughout the week. And last week we were practicing the 9 times table, and this week we will be looking at the 8 times table. So first of all, what I'd like you to do is just have a look at that 8 times table and just maybe think it through in your head, and decide for yourself how confident you are, whether you'd be able to tell me the answer to one of those straight away, like 7 times 8 straight away, you would know what it is. Or if you're not quite that confident or speedy yet, whether you could read through the multiples in your head in order without making a mistake. Or if you're still not quite confident enough to do that yet, you might think, well, I do know up to 5 times 8, and that's when I get a bit confused, or I know all of them except for 9 times 8. So decide for yourself how confident you are with your 8 times table first of all. Okay, so we're going to have a little practice together. Like I asked you to last week, please do join in and chant through the times table with me. Saying it out loud really helps us embed it in our brains. And also, if you join in, it makes Mrs. Hardy feel a little bit less silly that she's sitting here chanting the 8 times table to her screen. So we're going to say the whole calculations in order with our 8 times table. So 1 times 8 is 8. 2 times 8 is 16, 3 times 8 is 24, 4 times 8 is 32, 5 times 8 is 40, 6 times 8 is 48, 7 times 8 is 56, 8 times 8 is 64, 9 times 8 is 72, 10 times 8 is 80, 11 times 8 is 88, and 12 times 8 is 96. Okay. So a little bit faster this time. We're just going to read through the multiples. Okay, so again, please join in. You can do it quietly if you want to, or you might use a loud voice if there's nobody else around. And we'll just read through, imagining we're starting on 0 and counting in 8s. So 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80, 88, and 96. Okay, now I think there's some of these that we're fairly confident with. So we know that 1 times 8 is 8. We know that 10 times 8 is 80. Very straightforward. I think we also know that 2 times 8 is 16. That's double 8, or 8 add 8. And we also know our 2 times table really, really easily. So I'm going to cover that one over. We don't need it. I also think we know 11 times 8 is 88. That's just one more 8 than 80, our 10 times 8 fact. And I'm also going to cover up 5 times 8 is 40, okay? Because I think we know our 5 times table. It's also half of 80. So 10 times 8 is 80. 5 times 8 is going to be half of that, which is 40. Those are really good anchor questions to help you. So if you know these ones, you can use those to help you as an anchor for the others. So if I'm thinking about 9 times 8 and I'm not sure what it is, I can think of 10 times 8 and then think, what's the multiple before that? Same with 5 times 8. If I'm looking at 4 times 8 or 6 times 8 or even 7 times 8, I can think of 5 times 8 as my anchor. Okay, I know that's 40, so then I can count on to my next multiples of 8. So if you're still learning your 8 times table and there are some you're not sure of, try and use these ones as your anchor points to help you with the others. So in that case, if we know that 10 times 8 is 80, we can think back one and think, well, I know 9 times 8 is 72 because it's 8 less than 80. You can use your number bonds to think 8 add what makes 10. Okay, it's 2 in the ones column, and you know it's going to be 70 something. Okay. Also, the rule we learned last week in the 9 times table, the digits add up to 9. So if you know it's going to be 70 something, then you can add the 2 on to make 9, so 72. And then also using that rule, we can use that to help us with our 5 times 8. So we've got 32. So I can think of 5 times 8 is 40. Take away 8 using my number bonds gives me 32. And then 6 times 8 is 48. So I've just had 40. 5 times 8 is 40. 6 times 8 is 48. It's just 8 more. Okay. So we're going to have a go at chanting it with these ones covered up. Make sure you join in with me. Okay. Starting on 0 and counting in 8s, just saying the multiples. 24. 56. 64. 96. Okay, so hopefully you were able to call out the ones that were covered up, even though you couldn't see them. So I'll just reveal them to you there, just in case there were any you were thinking, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, and then the others. So some of you already know some of my tricks to remember some of these. I think that 3 times 8 is 24. I think we can do that, knowing our 3 times table. So you might think of 8, 16, 24 to help you. And actually you might just have learned that pattern, 8, 16, 24. Okay. And then this one here, so these two I often have a little trick for. So I've got 7 times 8 is 56. Now if you line it up a different way, you can say 56 is 7 times 8. Sorry, this is quite big on my screen, isn't it? So 56 is 7 times 8. So I can swap it around, and you'll notice that the digits are in order there: 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can say 5, 6, 7, 8, 56 is 7 times 8. So that might help you. 5, 6, 7, 8, 56 is 7 times 8. Okay. Let's get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. And then this is another rhyme Mrs. Hardy likes to use. For 8 times 8 is 64. Now 64 is our square number, isn't it? Because I multiply 8 by itself. And my rhyme is, I ate and I ate till I was sick on the floor. 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, some of you know that already. You could use that to help yourself. And the last one, 12 times 8 is 96. Now I like to think of 12 times 8 as being a combination of 10 times 8 and 2 times 8. And I know those facts really well. So I know that 12 times 8 is going to be 96, because 80 add 16 is 96. Okay, so you might use that to help yourself. So one last time, we're going to chant through the multiples, and then I'm going to let you go and do some practice. So follow my mouse. I'm not going to call them out for you, but I will show you them afterwards. Okay, so starting on 0, counting in our 8s. 8. Okay. I hope you are feeling a bit more confident with your 8s now. No matter how confident you are, it's really useful to have some practice and remind yourself. Please do log into Times Table Rockstars. I will set it to the 8 times table this week. So if you go on Garage, that will be what it is challenging you on. Remember, if you make a mistake, look at that answer that it gives you and try remember that for next time. Well done for those of you who practiced your 9s on Times Table Rockstars last week. Well done to these 5 people. They were my top 5 players who played the most last week on Times Table Rockstars. So well done, Logan, TG, Emma, Alfie, Charlie and Maddie. Keep it up this week, guys, and I'll be checking next week to see who has been logging in and practicing their 8 times table. Enjoy the rest of your learning today, and I will see you probably on a screen very soon.